Anyways, JJ, thank you for joining us, buddy. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Glad to be here.
How was Buffalo? That was awesome. Felt electrifying through the screen. That was a fun watch.
It was awesome, man. It was a really fun experience. Obviously, we're normally in the studio every week. CBS sent us out to Buffalo for the big game, and it was incredible. I see why you love game day so much, that atmosphere. Gave a little shout-out to you, tried to get the Buffalo crowd going, and they delivered. I mean, we were chugging beers. We had people showing up at 6 a.m. It was electric. And Buffalo fans, very, very similar to Wisconsin folks, and I felt right at home.
Go back to the beginning of that. You were talking about having a little crowd dance. You texted me and said you were going to do that, and I told you, you do not have to give me a shout-out. This is just classic crowd work. And watching you do it, I want to let you know, got me zeked up. Here's J.J. Watt with the Bills Mafia.
JB, this place is going crazy. They've already got it going on their own. I don't need to do anything. I've wanted to do this for a while. My guy Pat McAfee does it on game day every week. Hey, let's go Buffalo!
All right. Okay. Great execution by you. Great confidence by you. I think you could have done another "Let's Go Buffalo" if you wanted to. I think you could have. At the end, you kind of cut it.
I forgot I had to keep it going. I thought my initial "hey," I thought they took it from there. And as they were responding, I reminded myself, "Oh shit, I got like a part in this. This is a back and forth."
Yeah.
And I didn't know how many "Let's Go Buffaloes." I didn't know if there were other parts. I got lucky.
You nailed it. You didn't get lucky. You nailed it. And also, shout out to Bills Mafia for showing up. There's not a lot of NFL places. You talk about College Game Day, and I call them the greatest fan in all of sport. I assume you would like to argue for European football, soccer. You guys got 30,000 people, 45,000 people in the stands. Cute. It is fun. It is fun. 110, 109, 97, 92,000 people in stadiums here at college football, okay? So it is a little different conversation. Do respect the shit out of the hooligans over there. But you talk about like Buffalo, I think is a place you could go. Mm-hmm. Pittsburgh's a place I think you could go. I think go to New England if New England's doing well. Yep. Kansas City, I think you could go to. Green Bay. Detroit. I think you go to Detroit now. Philly. I think you could go to. Philly, Baltimore.
Seattle back.
Who's that?
The 12, Seattle.
Okay, not this year. You know that. You brought that up just to say that.
Asking.
That was rude. But Seattle did not deserve that. But if Seattle was all the way back, which they still are, very much in the middle of the entire race, I think there's like a third of the league that you could go to and would really show up. In college ball, it's like all these places are ready to go. And I'm the asshole if I don't know their stuff, as opposed to like wanting to do, it's like we're the bad people for not embracing their culture. Buffalo feels like that. I'm happy you guys got to experience it. I saw you go through a table. Okay.
There's nothing like the live fans. There's nothing like the live atmosphere. Like it's electric, and it gives you that energy, that adrenaline, that passion. And it's just the best. I was talking to the guys on set, and I was like, I wish the players could somehow during their career experience a tailgate while they're still playing, because it just gives you a whole nother level of that appreciation for how much these fans care, how into it they are. We all know, we see it, we know it, we feel.
We think we do.
Just being in it's the best, man. There's nothing better.
We think we do. I think we think we understand the passion. Oh, they're loud. Yeah, they're downs, they get loud. It's like, no. Their entire lives revolve around this shit. Like, I think that is the thing that I've learned through College Game Day, but also since retirement, getting a chance to see how some of these people act and operate and tailgate. Like, I thought I understood passion, and I thought I understood that Yinzers were big Steelers fans. But then you see these people are taking pictures from their house and hanging them on the side of highways.
Oh, my God.
And doing this. It's like, this is life. For a lot of people, I thought you guys did a great job.
Thank you. Thank you. There was some genitalia paraphernalia up there. That's become a standard up there. There was some interesting stuff on the sides of the road up there. But we had our guy Justin, who brought a portable speaker and a 12-pack and was sitting there since 7 a.m., which was great. Spent the whole day there. Tried to get him in the game. Didn't have any luck. It was a good day.
What?
Couldn't help him
out. You couldn't get the guy into the game?
I tried, because we were going on the field for halftime, obviously do the halftime hit, and I was like, hey, I need this guy to come with me. Like, he's been here all day. He deserves it. He didn't have a ticket to the game. He just came out solely he said he walked 5 miles there in his overalls.
And I had to walk.
Posted up, and I said, can I bring him into the game with me? I want him on the field at halftime. And they were like, well, I mean, we had to get your credentials last week. You think we can get this guy into the game right now? And I don't know. I was like, yeah, like if he's walking with us, why not? I mean, I got Bill Cowher, I got Matt Ryan, I got myself, Nate Burleson. Like,
this guy.
Apparently, it doesn't work that way. Apparently, there are restrictions on who's allowed close to Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. They don't want just anybody walking out there, I guess.
That makes sense. Hey, yeah, we got hundreds of millions of dollars out there and billions of dollars in the future. You think just, he walked 5 miles, Chuck Beer's been here. Yeah, that's the guy we want. That's the guy we want as close to Josh Allen as possible. Shout out to Justin. Can't do it without him. But Buffalo Bills need to make that right with him on the next home game. Hopefully, thank you for bringing him to attention. Chiefs, Bills, awesome game this weekend. There was rivalries riddled throughout the Sunday slate in the NFL, which is obviously awesome. Let's talk about one that your brother was a massive piece of. Pittsburgh Steelers, Baltimore Ravens. Steelers get another win. They were 3.5-point underdogs at home against the Ravens in this rivalry game. How did you expect it to go? How did it go? And what are your thoughts on where they both stand?
I mean, when you just look at it, like before the game, you look at the way the Ravens have been playing, the way they've been moving the ball, the way that they've been stopping the run. Like it's hard on paper to say that they wouldn't have a good day out there. But then you just take a look at the rivalry as a whole in these last 10 appearances, and I think this win made it 8-1 for the Steelers. It's truly one of those where they say throw out the record books, throw out whatever's happening. It's just an old school rivalry. That's what this game is. For some reason, the Steelers just have the number of the Ravens, whether that's seeing them every single week, 2 times a year, and knowing the scheme and knowing how to have a plan for it and react to it, whether that's one of those things where you get the yips against certain teams and you just can't perform the same way. Stadium, uniforms, you just see them and you get into a different mindset. I don't know. But the Steelers clearly have the Ravens number at this current moment, and they played an extremely good ball game. And nothing more AFC North than winning a game without scoring a touchdown.
Yep. Yeah, but Chris Boswell, 6-6. What a dog, especially as we look around the league and everything kind of becoming, I don't want to say question marks with kickers, but literally at the beginning of the season, we thought everything was going to go in. Now we understand that there's a chance every kick could be missed. I don't know if it's because guys are tired. I don't know if it's because weather's doing its thing. I don't know what it is, but Boswell is as true as the day is long, brother.
It's incredible. Obviously, I watch the Steelers games every week because of TJ, and this guy is – you never even question it. When he steps out there, you're like, yep, 3 points on the board. Does he deserve Offensive Player of the Week and Special Teams Player of the Week? What do we? I mean, that's a lot of points. It's a lot of points for one guy.
And it's a win in a massive game for a team whenever they needed it. And he had 3 50-plus yard kicks, I believe. It's not just like he had chip shots. We're talking 3 50-plussers in November in Pittsburgh. Not the easiest place to kick. And then on the other side, obviously, Justin Tucker's going through what he's going through with his swing right now. I'm excited for him to figure it out. They're saying maybe it's a long snapper, maybe it's hold, maybe it's new body. Every miss is to the left. You would think he'd be able to. I think he'll be able to figure it out. Come on, Tucker.
You got this, Tuck.
Come on, Tuck.
But to your
Best
point,
of all time, right?
Come on.
I mean,
I got Vinny.
I know Vinny. Like, is this a? I don't know kickers well enough. I know those are the two in the discussion. How does it shake out?
It is those. I mean, it's those two. It is. They're both Super Bowl champions too. Now, granted, Vinatieri has like more moments. If you were to think more massive moments in his resume, but he also kicked for 20-some years, so there's a lot of time that he was able to stay at a very high level, which I think we're watching right now with some of these kickers, and we're like, how was Vinny able to do this for 24 years or whatever the hell it was at that high level? His percentage is nowhere near what Tucker has been through the start of his career, so I think people will hold that against him. And also, the way Tucker has made kicks is just like down the middle. And I am a massive Justin Tucker fan, but it's like Vinatieri, he walked out on the field and he needed a kick. It's like, dude's going to make it. Yep. And I don't know what other things you need to judge off of. He's potentially first ballot kicker into the Hall of Fame. That's going to be a highly debated thing. Highly debated, JJ.
Why?
I guess there's some people within the ranks of old football that are like, look at that list. We're taking the spot for a kicker to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And then I think everybody else in the room with a brain is like, did you see what this guy has done? And do we need him to walk out here with his 6 Super Bowl rings and say, what are we even talking about here? So it's going to be a debate, though. It's going to be a big-time debate. If he was any other position, had the moments that he has, had the success that he had, obviously, let's say you can't play 20-plus years in another position. Let's say it's a long career, though, long-ass career. He'd be a first ballot, no questions asked.
Yes.
No questions asked. But at the kicker position, I guess there's still some positionism potentially.
But I mean, you have to judge him against all the kickers of all time too. Like there needs to be kickers in the Hall of Fame. There's no doubt. And if you're gonna give a guy first ballot, which kicker would it be? Him. Like that's what I don't understand is why we have those types of things. Like you can't judge him against like a quarterback or an Ed Reed or somebody like that. It's completely different. But when you talk about that. They always love that quote where it's like, can you tell the story of the NFL without talking about X? I mean, it's pretty darn tough to tell it without talking about Adam Vinatieri and everything that he's done and the success he's had. Obviously, a bunch of guys on that list are the same, but at his position, I mean, what are we just not going to put kickers in? Like, yeah, if he's deserving, should be a first ballot.
Hell yeah, Vinny. Hell yeah, Vinny. You've earned it, pal. You've earned it. Now, he doesn't know that because he's probably somewhere with no cell service for the next 4 weeks or something like that. But Adam Vinatieri, I think I can't wait to see his partying can. He's a good dude. Everybody likes him, too. Didn't see Shane Leckler on that list. Bummed out another year. We got
Bummed out. Shane Leckler deserves to be in.
Agreed completely.
Punters getting screwed.
Well, Ray Guy got in, and that was a big deal. There's people pissed off about that, too. That was the first punter ever in, and there were some people that were openly mad about it. Shane Leckler, obviously, should be the second punter that gets in. Hopefully it'll happen another year. We shall see.
So are we just ignoring like that's part of the game? Like,
yes.
Like, there is, you can't play the game without it. Like obvious. Like I'm not saying that there should be 20 of them in, but let's not. Like, there's only one ever that's belonged. No.
Maybe let 4 or 5.
Still, 6, let's be honest here. We're still
as a guy who's been nominated 3 times for the Hall of Fame, let's maybe open that window a little bit.
We're still talking specialists here. All right, let's go.
All right, James. Let's get back to the Pittsburgh Steelers conversation with Boswell, with how fantastic he is. Another AFC North matchup, another tough place to kick. Thursday Night Football against the Cleveland Browns. There's a little bit of sauce on this one because Myles Garrett, now we did not get to hear the clip. We read the quote late before the show, so we did not get to hear the delivery. You know, I think he said he didn't appreciate the way Tage acted about not winning.
That's right.
Defense Player of the Year. Maybe he should apologize to me. Is the quote written? We did not hear it. We are fans of Myles Garrett. We appreciate Myles Garrett, but it's a big one against the Cleveland Browns, and Myles Garrett and TJ Watt are a massive piece of the story. Let's go to some stats we got from Hembo, shall we?
Nice.
Okay.
Disrupted dropbacks. Jage, when you hear that, what is your first thought?
My first thought is stupid stat. What does that mean?
Okay, so it is not a stupid stat, I will have you know. Just like AJ in the first hour of the show said, I don't want to hear common opponent's stupid stats either. Okay, this is a good one. Disrupted dropback is a stat that takes into account sacks, interceptions, batted passes, passes defended, and tipped passes.
Okay.
So disrupted dropbacks.
Yep.
They disrupt the play
Right,
immediately.
So it's real stats.
Feels like
Not made up stats. Those are real stats that you can actually count. They're not like percentages or like pressures or.
Feels like it. From Hembo, feels like that's what it is. Myles Garrett and TJ Watt have been head and shoulders above everybody for the last 8 years. And then the last couple of years, Trey Hendrickson, also in the AFC North, has snuck his way into the statistics. But TJ obviously has a massive lead on this. He's a huge disruptor. How do you see this particular game going? And is it Myles Garrett and TJ Watt deciding who wins this game?
I mean, I think the first thing I would say about it is there's zero problem whatsoever with Myles Garrett. He's an unbelievable player. TJ has zero problem with him whatsoever. He thinks he's an unbelievable player. This has never been about Myles Garrett or if he's worthy or if he's a great player or any, like that is undisputable. He's a phenomenal player. It's more just about the overall system and the voting and things like that. That's what that was last year. Nothing, zero rivalry there with the guy. But I think this game, a lot of people are saying that this is a typical trap type game, coming off a massive win against the Ravens for that first place spot in the division, going on the road on a Thursday into the Browns, who aren't having the best year, but obviously it's still the AFC North. And I think I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think Tomlin's record on Thursday nights are great.
No, in the division, against a division team on the road on Thursday night, not good. Not good.
Yeah, so like that's one of those things that all these things, you can't ignore all of this stuff and you have to add it together. But there is something different about this Steelers team a little bit that it feels, even in that 11-0 team a couple of years ago, this team does seem to just feel like they kind of putting all the pieces together at the right time. We'll see, though. I mean, we'll see. It's going to be a good game. I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, it's another good one on Thursday night, which we're pumped about. Go ahead, Age.
Jage, so AQ hates the Steelers offense. Can you try to tell us like why he should not hate this offense? He loves the defense, but he says this offense is just not his thing.
Jeez.
Well, what are his reasons? Well, take the glasses off, Grandpa.
Yeah, take the readers off.
I think you look handsome in those readers, AQ. You're good.
I appreciate that, AJ.
He has not seen you in the readers. You're okay.
I get told him some other people on X every once.
Who bubbles?
Who?
No, it's just every bald guy with a goatee.
Cyrus the Virus.
Yeah, exactly.
Who was that race car driver a couple years back?
Oh my God!
Stay away from there.
Spitting image.
It was AQ Shipley's face on this guy.
Yeah.
He might have got a body. AQ might have got a body transplant. Race car driver on the bottom, AQ Shipley's head on top, and that guy said some stuff.
Yeah, stay away from that one.
He said some things.
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
But yes, any bald stooge, you do get. And I think you do look good with the glasses. But you did say earlier, to AJ's point, I hate the offense. Are the Steelers going to win a Super Bowl? I asked you, I hate that offense. They're seemingly playing better than ever, Jage, which is what you're kind of saying. With Russell Wilson coming into his own, George Pickens is now who we thought he was. They're running the ball. Freiermuth is getting utilized in a fashion in which he hasn't been utilized offensively. What do you not like? It's just the offensive line you're worried about?
That's exactly it. I mean, I think Broderick Jones has a long way to go. And, I mean, they keep asking him questions at Tomlin. Tomlin's sticking by him. Hey, we're going to ride with him, but it's consistently. And I think, they got young guys across the board. They've had a ton of injuries. That's not saying anything, but it is what it is. Everybody has injuries, and the guys that have come in, I just don't think they have the makings to go. And I think Russell Wilson, at the end of the day, is a 50% passer. He throws a bunch of moon balls, and you make some plays, but I think in order to win a Super Bowl, I don't think they have the offense to do so.
Yeah, I think he's strictly offensive line, because if you look at the team.
Do you think that the Ravens can win a Super Bowl?
Yeah, I think they have more makings. I do. I think they have more makings. I think they have one piece on their offensive line that Macari that probably, they could have a better piece in there at that guard spot. But I think the other four are really good. I think their skill position's incredible. I think, the one thing that concerns me is the opposite, is the defensive secondary for the Ravens, right?
But I think AQ, Jage, here, his big take, and always has been this, you got to have a Super Bowl quality offensive line. Like, obviously, you have to have a championship caliber defense, which is a massive piece of the conversation as the season rolls on in the NFL. Because the offense steals the convo, but inevitably, when the games matter, got to have a defense. Got to be able to have a championship defense. Nobody talks about it till late. AQ says nobody talks about the fact you need an offensive line. If you don't have an offensive line, you're going to get exposed at some point. I think that's your big takeaway for the Steelers.
100%. And I think the biggest, Jage, you can talk about this too. Like, the one thing that your casual fan doesn't understand is the difference between December and January football, right? And I think it always comes down, you can look at the Kansas City Chiefs every single year, and they have all these shiny trick plays, and they do all these things. But whenever they go in the playoffs, what do? They line up and they run power, and they smash you in the mouth, and they're trying to bury you and punish you on every single play.
I don't disagree with you. I mean, I think the trenches are hands down underrated, especially when it comes to the national discourse about football, and once you get later in the year especially. But I do think their defense, the game that I always keep going back to, that the Steelers, if something's going to give me pause, it's this one, was that Cowboys game where they had a chance to win the game, and all they had to do was make a stop, basically 75 yards, and they didn't. And that's the one that I go back to where I say, man, that one's the one they didn't close out. But as they've gone on here, they have been closing these games out now. They've won, I believe, every game since that game. So I think their defense is that good. I think their defense is that good where they literally just won a game against a team that you yourself just said is a legitimate Super Bowl contender without scoring a touchdown. So now if they do start stringing it together, and you got to remember, Russ has only played a few games with this team. He's going to continue to get more comfortable and get better. Everybody's going to continue to get in sync. So you would imagine that offense is going to get better as they go. And the defense is obviously what it is. So you start to put those things together, and you have a kicker like Boz, who, even if your offense isn't producing, he will. It does have a recipe for some very strong results.
There's a road and a recipe for it, but when push comes to shove, if your offensive line can't win a game, you're not going to win the game. You can win a lot of games, but the game, it's probably going to come back and bite you in the ass. You think about Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl. Everybody was talking about that offensive line all year. This is not his best offensive line, not his best offensive line. And then when Super Bowl comes around, Todd Bowles goes bananas. And he's like, hey, here it is. And you remember Patrick Mahomes scrambling for his life. They almost won. But in the end, it was an offensive line question. And I think that's why we were...
So you're going Lions, AQ. I assume you're going Lions, Super Bowl champs then?
I love the Lions. I love Philly out of the NFC. And I mean, the AFC's interesting. I mean, it really is. I mean, I think Baltimore's still there. I mean, Pittsburgh, because of their defense, they're going to have a chance. There's no question about that. I just think, again, when we get down to the playoffs in the game, I don't see it.
Okay, let's talk about one of the teams that has had fantastic production from their offensive line for a long time, which is why we love them. D-Butch has a question for you, James.
Yeah, talent up and down this whole roster on both sides of the ball out there in San Fran with the 49ers. Obviously, it hasn't gone as we all probably thought it would this season. Any faith in the 49ers being able to turn it around and getting the dance and make some noise in December and January?
It's this. I talk about the Cowboys and the 49ers as two teams that before the season everybody had kind of in discussions about the possible NFC Championship. Obviously, we know that Detroit is going to be in those talks as well, among other teams. And then you see what happened during the season so far. That's the beauty of the NFL to me. That's the parity. That's what people love. That's why you tune in, because you have to play the games to make it work. I mean, they still have the talent. They still have the coaching that you should be scared of them at any time. And if you do look at their stats over the second half of seasons for these past few years, they have been dominant in the second halves of season, which makes what we're watching now even more interesting, because normally coming off a bye, they're great. Normally in the second half of the season, they're great. They're starting to get healthy to get Christian McCaffrey back. Still not great. So it is a little concerning there. But if I'm a team facing them, I still believe that they can do anything. I still believe that they can be dangerous. I truly don't even know exactly what's happening over there. But yes, if I'm a team lining up against them, I still see them as a very dangerous threat.
Me too. And what is happening over there? You know, I think we all just expect them to figure it out. Niners will figure it out. Niners will figure it out. You know who figured it out?
I agree.
Gino. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Gino figured it out. In that NFC West, 6-4, 5-5, 5-5, 5-5. Anybody can make it out of there, and seemingly anybody can get left out of that NFC West as well whenever you're talking long term.
Give some credit to the Cards, baby. Give the Cards some love.
Leaders of the NFC West are the Arizona Cardinals.
Gotta love it.
And that's why we love them. Mm-hmm. I do. I enjoy what Gannon has brought over there. Very much a culture shift for the Arizona Cardinals. And how are their facilities? Facilities getting better? Because I remember those report cards you guys gave out. All of you players.
They're working on it. They're working on it.
Yeah, but you players anonymously all said, with the hope that they have, with the opportunity that they have, with Kyler Murray still very young in this whole thing, maybe they do try to become a professional organization.
They should, maybe.
Maybe they try to invest in it. That'd be great. And I'm probably going to be living in Phoenix at some point in my life. Let's go, boys.
It's going to be good.
Same ownership group?
Yeah. Oh. Flip a switch, though. You can flip a switch.
Yeah, that happens.
Just like out there with the Pittsburgh Pirates.
That's usually how it goes.
Yeah. The Brown family changing in Cincinnati.
They did it?
Yeah, now team's getting worse somehow.
I mean,
you go.
Throw the Chargers in there. They've flipped the switch.
Speaking of the Chargers, Ty has a question for you. Talk about changing a culture.
Yeah, Jade, you just talked to him a couple weeks ago, and we talked about it before the season, even without seeing who they got and the pieces that they lost. It was like, hey, Jim Harbaugh, the Chargers are going to win 10 games or 11 games next year. It just feels like that's what he always does. They have continued to do that despite not having maybe the weapons on offense or, missing a few guys on defense. But do you look at this Chargers team and think like, hey, this is a team that no one's going to want to see in the playoffs, considering what they've been so far?
Yes, absolutely. I think the way their defense is playing, Justin Herbert, dangerous and seemingly even more unlocked now with Harbaugh and everything that they're doing. You do not want to see them. And they're I don't know why. This could just be completely me, or maybe it's you don't necessarily think of like a crazy, tough, hard-nosed, like beat you up football team. But that's exactly what they are now. That's exactly what Harbaugh, what Ben Herbert, what this squad has done is they've brought this tenacity. They've brought this energy. They've brought this physicality that don't let the baby blue jerseys fool you. Like they are going to hit you in the mouth. They are going to shut you down. And then they can also just throw it over the top of you with Justin Herbert to score a bunch of points on you.
They have sweet uniforms.
Yeah.
Best in the league.
Great social media. Great digital staff. Great facility. Right. You were there last week. You would know more than us. Phenomenal facility. Yeah. They're in Los Angeles, so obviously a lot of eyes are going to be on them. And they got a young quarterback that's great and a coach that he's never going to die.
No.
Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh might be the first one to get the head transplant.
Yeah.
He might coach them for the next 50 years over there. I'm buying stock in the Chargers. You were a believer long before anybody, seemingly, D-Butch.
I was a believer in Herbert. You know, his talent. You rarely see a young quarterback come in and be able to do what he's been able to do from day one. And it was always a question of who was leading the ship. You know, we always had questions about the head coach since day one. He dealt with, I think, 3 or 4 different offensive coordinators throughout his young career now. But to JJ's point, now they are that tough team that can finish. Even that game against the Bengals primetime, we all saw it's the Chargers coming to Chargers. But being able to finish that game, having a squad on both sides, bringing in young guys too, great coordinators, Greg Roman, Jesse Minter on both sides. They got all the makings of a team that can compete not only now but deep in the future.
How about J.K. Dobbins? He didn't have a lot of options.
No,
it wasn't like everybody was calling on him, and Jim Harbaugh's like, how about J.K. Dobbins? What a story. Resiliency, toughness, fast.
Jesse Minter has to be up there for number 1 head coaching candidate next year, no? I mean, he's got to be in that.
Okay, we had this conversation yesterday. Vrabel, Belichick, Johnson, Aaron Glenn, Slowick, we don't know. We have no idea how the rest of the year ends up, if he's going to be in the chatter. Mentor, I guess you can add in there.
Cliff
Kingsbury, who's already been a head coach, but I think that new ownership group is probably going to drop some money into his pocket if there's any offers. Maybe he sticks around with Jaden for a while. We have not talked to him. We were just projecting in there. But we were talking about Jets.
Yeah, both Lions guys definitely got to be up there.
Danny Smith.
Danny Smith, special teams coordinator for the Steelers, might get his opportunity finally.
Yeah.
Might get his opportunity.
Awesome.
Would love that.
That would be.
Riz, we don't know. Coach Riz, special teams coordinator for the Saints. But you already got the Jets. You already got the Saints. The Jags was allegedly happening before that game, and then they play their worst game that they played
in franchise history,
and get beat worse than they've ever gotten beat in their entire existence. Nothing's happened. They're on a bye week. Coach Doug Peterson, who we love, absolutely love,
the man,
feels like his press conferences are from a guy who seems like there's a little bit of that, but then you start rattling off the potential places that you're going to have coaching change. It's like there's a lot. So there's going to be a bunch of coaches we haven't heard of that are going to get gigs, and people are going to be pissed about it regardless.
Yeah, I mean, I think every fan base thinks that there's just this pool of phenomenal, unbelievable coaches out there. Like, people are getting pissed. Like, obviously, Kyle Shanahan's taking heat this year. You got guys taking heat for decisions, and I'm just like, how many phenomenal head coaches do you think are out there? Like, what do you think? You think guys are making perfect decisions at all times? But maybe this job is actually hard. Maybe they're making these crazy, crucial decisions with the pressure on at that exact moment while there's a billion other things going on. Maybe that's tough, all right? And maybe there's not 100 guys out there that could do it at the top level. Maybe there's a reason Andy Reid is so damn good at what he does, because he does it over and over and over, and he's the top of the top. Like, it's just crazy that we think that every head coach is going to make the perfect decision every single time. It's just not realistic.
Well, the grass is greener, though, and the owners think that way. There was an article this morning from Diana Rossini and Zach Blatt, I do believe, from The Athletic, saying that Ambassador Johnson had an all-hands-on-deck meeting with the power players of the Jets after week 4 or whatever, and says, we need to bench Aaron Rodgers right now. You need to go sign Devontae and give him more than they've ever had before. I want to get rid of this guy. Get rid of Lazard. I want Judy in here. Do this every single day. Maybe owners not great either. Maybe not saying.
Hey, that was week 4, so that was before they got Devontae?
Yeah.
Before they
so he wanted to bench him, and they said no. And then he was like, okay, let's go get his best friend.
Yeah, but then they said, we don't know if this is a good trade because of what we're going to have to give up. And Ambassador goes, are you an ambassador or me? Do you
Did he drink the pepper water?
Cayenne pepper water, I do not know if that is part of Ambassador Johnson's entire daily routine, but he needs to think about it. And the more research we've done on that, I don't know if I'm going to change my life to start drinking it, but if you have it, I think it's okay.
It's going to help.
I think it does help.
I'll light a fire under him again if we have to. Like, if that's what gets him on the win again, I'll do a favor to the city of New York. Like, I'll light a fire. Like stir that up, man. Replace the Gatorade coolers. Pepper water, pepper water, pepper water.
Replace the Gatorade coolers. You're so dramatic. Jeez,
they're not going to do that.
Yeah, they're not obviously going to take out all the electrolytes and just substitute cayenne pepper.
Gatorade. You can't.
Gatorade's real. What a development. Did we know what we were drinking? And this is not an ad. They have not paid us. They should. They have not. Did we know that the original Gatorade was what it was? We were just chugging Kool-Aid. I guess,
sugar water.
With some electrolytes in it. And then they're like, oh, yeah, but now we got what we said this was the entire time. It's like, thank you for figuring that out.
I'm still drinking the OG one.
Yeah.
I don't
Sometimes you need to cut it with some water. There's some of those ones are a little bit too thick.
You got to drink it when you're active. You burn it off. You need to.
What about that Powerade in Georgia they handed you? Oh, buddy. What was that?
It was crap.
Delicious? Oh, no.
That was not of...
It was diesel Powerade, too.
It was,
I think it was gasoline.
It was a pink. It was a pinkish Powerade.
Yeah, chew it.
It was ice cold, which I was very appreciative, and they saw how hot it was. They brought it out to me. The equipment staff down there in Georgia was awesome. They were a great crew, great group of people. Very thankful for the hospitality down there. And shout out to DeCaesar, too. Old facilities manager down there, Paisan. He's a good dude. Absolute dog. He took care of us. Got me a hat, said, hey, you need some sunscreen. Looks like you're going through it. And then they said, hey, we got some cold drink for you. And they handed me over a pink Powerade. And then they just looked at me. And I looked at that. And I'm like, I'm dying of thirst right now. And nobody, this is Adidas right now I'm drinking.
Come on.
I don't. When was the last time I had Powerade? So,
Do you ever wear sunscreen out there, by the way? Ever?
Yes. I just naturally.
Dude, you are a lobster by the time Saturday rolls around.
Thanks, Jage. I know. And it's not just the outside. I'm getting cooked. My body cooks from the inside as well. Like if I get hot, it starts radiating. I'm like baking. So I get broiled and I'm baking at the same time. It's not the perfect setup to be on camera for it. And
Loved the outfit this week, though. The jeans with boots. It was a great fit. I think that was number one of the year so far.
That makes me feel pretty good.
I agree.
David Allen should feel very fantastic about that suit coat because the number 2 outfit, I think, of the year where I've gotten compliments, same sport coat.
Sure.
Just different fit on the other side. Shout out to Shaq, too, for that big and tall shirt that I wore underneath that thing. That's a Shaquille O'Neal brand that you can get at JCPenney. Now, we talk about coaches being great, and everybody thinking there's a plethora of these leaders out there that can turn teams around. There's certainly one of them in the great city of Detroit. Go ahead, Con Man.
Yeah, JJ, feels like the Lions are now the top class of the NFL. Do you think they're going to go on a run and kind of be what, everyone wants them to be in the Super Bowl champions? I mean, we know they're going up against Mac Jones this weekend, who people forget is a Pro Bowler. He's a good guy, good quarterback. But do you think the Lions are going to be the team that go on this run and, bring a trophy to Detroit?
I mean, it's a perfect example. Last year, playoffs, everybody's on Dan Campbell because he, the decision-making and things like that, you got to change it in the playoffs and all this. Well, I mean, the guy got there, and he also has a team doing what he's doing right now. The thing that makes me like the Lions is their diversity and how they can beat teams. They can do it through the air. They can do it through the ground, on the ground.
Okay.
The play-action game obviously opens up, and they're scoring 1 billion points. Defense is strong. They added Zadarius Smith. But that Texans game, unfortunately for me, obviously, really shows you what they're capable of in the face of adversity. And I think that is what really matters down the stretch, and especially in the playoffs, is being able to overcome some tough stuff, because the better the teams get, the better the competition gets, the more you're going to have those situations. And he clearly has those guys primed and ready. They're going to be an unbelievably tough out.
And they're expecting to win now, too. Like this week, they were the biggest favorites they had ever been in the history of the Detroit Lions, 14. And I think everybody in Detroit was expecting to cover, and they did.
Yep.
By 4X. It's like when they're expected to win, they do. They don't play down to the opponent's level, which is like very different for most teams that are kind of in the middle, meddling in this entire thing. They play dominant football regardless. It's like this Detroit Lions is so different than what it used to be. And I couldn't even fathom being a Lions fan. The roller coaster has been nice.
No, it's awesome. We were the team that used to get killed by 50 points, and now we win by 50 points, and MCDC saying that's not even our best football. We got things to clean up. We got some stuff that if it was Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen, it might be a problem, and I love that because the expectation is so high. And like this, it has to be the year. Just got to stay healthy. But yeah, it's awesome.
It has to be the year.
I love the foot on the pedal mentality too.
Oh yeah,
I love that he just keeps it down. You're letting your team know, like, guys, this is what we do. This is who we are. We're going to roll you. B, he's spreading the ball around to guys. I mean, getting touchdowns, like, guys, it's just candy. He's just handing out touchdowns to guys, so everybody in the locker room's happy.
Who needs one, man?
Time.
Who needs a touchdown for incentive? Figure it out, Ben. Guys, too.
Oh, no doubt. And think about, so I'm interested in this because I haven't thought this through. So if this comes out stupid, no problem. I'll freezing cold takes. If you're the Lions and if you're the Lions coordinators, because they're both in line for head coaching jobs and we assume that they're top of everybody's list, but you guys are having a blast. You got a great team. You got a great head coach. You guys are doing something incredible in a city that hasn't done it ever. And let's say the owner comes out and says, we're going to pay you guys head coaches' salaries. We're just going to have 3 guys with that level salaries on the staff. Is there a part of you that's like, yes, I will stay for that. I will do that.
So I think Ben Johnson already did that, right? I think Ben Johnson, offense coordinator, was potentially already offered a head coaching job and decided to stay at Detroit.
I believe he's gotten a raise the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, so this is just like the Cliff Kingsbury conversation with Washington, where he's already been a head coach, has already had a deal with all the shit. If the ownership, who has no salary cap on these coaching salaries, is able to give a boost, a good boost, and still to build something special and be a part of it, and if you like Dan, right? I think that's a big question, AJ. Do you like the head guy? Do you want to continue to work for him? Which it feels like they probably do it.